Good morning, afternoon, whenever it is you're watching this. I'm here to show us the final sections of our exhibition log. Whatever it is that is left, of course, to do, most of it is the presentation or being ready for the presentation. So if we go back to the assignment, you were asked to turn in this exhibition log right here in this exhibition progress update that was there from this week. So I have a few, right? Looks like 10 total, and I know that those are there because I've double checked them, and the rest of you need to make sure those get turned in. Some of yours I've not seen at all. I've not heard from you at all, so you're not sharing anything. Okay, so you want to go to and look at your exhibition log. So what do we have left to do? So what I left off on last time, I left off right here in our first video. This video here is going to just start from this section because this is useful for you. You could use this as a script for your public service announcement, which is a PSA. When you're making your Powtoon, your iVideo, your iMovie, whatever it is you're going to do, you can use this written report as an example of a persuasive essay, but it also could be a persuasive essay you read over a video, which is then now like a script. So I've had students, or I've told students, you can use this for something useful. It's not just something that is included in, as a part of your exhibition. It's something that you can actually use. So you write your essay, you will turn it in our Padlet because we're doing this virtually this time, but you could turn it in on the Padlet. You could also attach it and turn it in on the final portion when I tell you to turn in your exhibition log for credit. You would just take and add this, submit it, attach it, and submit it through Google Classroom. But if you read this example, it tells you, right, the introduction, grab their attention, but it's like a commercial, it's saying, I stumbled out of the building, coughing and wheezing, smoke filling my eyes and lungs. It's acting as if it's, something that's being seen. So you can use it for your PSA as a script. That way you're writing your essay, but you're also having something that you can read to share through your video presentation or part of your video presentation, okay? You could also just write it as an expository where you're just giving us facts, you're just letting us know things. But if you notice, there are citations, they're telling us where they got the information from. The California Environmental Protection Agency, right? The US Surgeon General found. Okay, they're telling us where it comes from. You cannot just say things, those expository that expository information came from somewhere. You didn't make it up. So tell us who said it, where it came from, which website, which book, which magazine, which expert. Your visual display format is going to be done through the Padlet. And I'm not going to include the Padlet here because we have a Padlet video resource we're going to share. And then from there, you can ask questions. But all of these things must be included in that format. So you could make a slideshow and then put that into the Padlet, or you can just list these separately on different parts of the different sections where you give it a title topic, and then you tell us what it is, then you write central idea, and you tell us what that is. You can do it like that. It's much easier to put it into a Google slideshow. And from that Google slideshow or the Google Sites, which is another video I made to show you how to use Google Sites, or just in a Google Doc, or you could put it on a poster board and take a picture of it, however you're going to do it. We don't recommend the poster board because you're doing triple work and you don't really want to do that. Triple work because you have to find pictures and everything and then print them and then post them onto the board and then take a picture. So you're doing too much. You should just put them directly into a Google slideshow. Okay, but these are the items that we're looking for that must be included in the Google slideshow. And if you raise your hand and tell me where to get these from, oh, I see. Oh, yes, you're correct. You get them from the exhibition log, the thing we're looking at right now. All of this is in your exhibition log. It's in your exhibition planner. I don't want to scroll back and make everybody sick, but it's in the planner. And it's a section where you, right after your lines of inquiry, and it shows those are the final drafts. They all go into your exhibition planner, and then this information is shared on this visual. Attributes are IB attributes. You need evidence that you actually used these attributes, you showed these attributes. How are you a thinker? And then they give you these little examples, and then you're supposed to tell us how you did that. Now, this seems like a very small portion of the exhibition log, especially if you think back to all the research you did. But this is just reflection back to things that you realize you were doing, because you may not realize you're a risk taker, and you might have to stop and reflect about it, think really hard about it, and then you say, oh, I was a risk taker because I didn't want to talk to this expert. I didn't want to make a phone call. I didn't want to interview. I was a risk taker because I didn't think I could make a PSA. I didn't think I could make a film or a video of me doing something. Okay, so you're a risk taker, you use good judgment, you do things on your own, but you're willing to make mistakes. That's a big deal. Okay, reflective communicator, all of those attributes and attitudes is the next section, have to be shown. But when we say have to be shown, what we're really saying is that they are shown, you just need to find them. So give us the evidence of when you were honest, you showed integrity. Does it have to be inside of your exhibition? Does it have to be a portion of the exhibition where you told us something in your exhibition log, or did it have to be something you wrote down in your essay? No, it could be when you were talking with us, or if you are using your parents or someone as a mentor, when you told your mentor something that you wanted to tell the truth about. Think about that. Did you do that? Did you enjoy learning? When did you enjoy learning? How did you show that? Okay, appreciation, confidence, creativity, all of these, you just need to think about and find evidence. Do not rush through that. Do not wait until the last moment to try to fill all of these things out. You should do them as you're finishing up your action. You should just take some time to scroll through and look and say, oh, I did do those, and then tell us where you showed that. How did you communicate? How did you think, right? When you talk about thinking, we're talking about reflecting back to something you did, or you think about things you're going to do. So it's not just a thought of, I want to do this, or I think I'm going to do that. No. How much deep thought, and where were you very thoughtful about things you were going to do? You probably put a lot of thought, or you should have put a lot of thought into the action you were going to perform. So, give us examples or evidence of when you were thinking very thoughtful about things. Research is where you should have started with the research. You should have a ton of data to show evidence of your research. And if you did the proper research through your introductory research, then you showed a lot of transdisciplinary research skills. Okay, self-management is these right here. Just needs to go down. Maybe I can change that there. There you go. How did you manage your time yourself? Some of you are going to say, or have to be honest, and you're going to say, I didn't. I tried to do this all in 3 days. You need to tell the truth. You need to be honest because we can tell. I can tell those that are working and taking this very seriously. They've shown me really good work in their exhibition log. I'm very proud of those people because they took this seriously and they've been completing the work. Others of us, you have a lot of catching up to do from this moment. You gotta make sure you're doing it, and that's part of self-management. Okay, and then socially, how did you work with others? Things like that. You may not have been in a group, but you could still show some evidence of working socially with people. This last section here is a self-assessment and final reflection piece. Okay, when I say final section, what I mean is probably the things you're going to do or want to do last after everything is done. Right? You talk about whether or not you think you did pretty well, or you were amazing at something. If you still need to work on things. So those of you that, like I just said, were working for 3 days trying to finish it, versus those that were working for weeks and weeks trying to finish it, you're gonna be honest and mark these accordingly. So read through each one and then honestly assess yourself. And then you do these final reflection pieces, which are what was the most difficult part, something new you learned, what you're most proud of, and then what you would do differently, what you would do or what advice you would give to others that are going to take part in this next year. We usually try to share some of those, but we couldn't really get too much, this year because we're out of school. So we, didn't share anything, but a lot of students will share that this takes a lot of time. I mean, I can tell you a lot of reflection said, you need to start early. This takes a lot of time. You need to be a good partner or group member, because there's a lot of bad group members. So that was part of the reflections I read from last year. And then you have a parent reflection where your parent is asked to, enter their information here. And we do ask that your parent, you don't have to type it for them. You could ask them to type it in if you like, or you could write it on paper and then type it for them. But that's the last of the exhibition log. And if I scroll back without, don't look at it if it's going to make you too ill with the movement. Okay, but I'm going to scroll back. There was a previous reflection piece that we kind of said to skip over for the moment. Okay, but if you notice here, it says final reflection. So it's that last part, the part that's at the bottom that I just showed you on page 30 or 29 or whatever it was. Okay, that's the part that goes here. The reflection that you were supposed to do up here, which again, okay. Okay, the choose, act, reflect. It's getting you, this is your action. This is part of your action, right? And it's not a reflection back to the entire thing you're doing. It's a reflection on what it is you're doing at this moment and why you're going to perform that action. Do you think that you can make other people understand this? What's something that is not the same anymore once you've performed this action? Did it actually change, or do I need to share the information with other people to continue the action cycle? So it's not something that is a final reflection. It's a reflection right here for this piece where you chose what you're going to do, and then you acted it, and then you think about that part, you reflect on it, okay? So that's just part of the action cycle. Okay, final reflection is that last part. You were also asked to reflect up here. Okay, this is the exhibition planner piece. If I can scroll not too fast here. Okay, right here. This exhibition planner, I won't say all, most of the information that you need to put in your visual presentation, the one I said you could use slideshow or Google Docs or Google Sites, is here in this exhibition planner. So this is your final central idea. If I looked at your central idea and I gave you a few hints to try to fix it, you fixed it as much as you can. We're getting really close to the end. You need to just put it there in this piece if you believe it's your best central idea. Okay, these are your resources of what it is you're supposed to use in your research. Your key concepts here, right? 5 key concepts, which are form, function, causation. And you saw the explanations, the descriptions of each one in the the key concepts section. But then you have your actual questions here from your key concepts. So these are key concepts, just form, function, those. But these are the questions that caused you to then go and do your research, which helped you, which focused you on your research. Those are your key concept questions. They are related to your lines of inquiry. So your final lines of inquiry, if I said your lines of inquiry are okay, or we just haven't gotten to that part where I wasn't able to check them all the way because you're still working on them, you need to get your final lines of inquiry in here. Okay, this is your final draft. So all that information you need for the visual presentation, most of it is here. And then your final reflection and everything else you have to do at the end after you've completed everything. Okay, and like I said, while you're doing your action, you can start answering some of those questions about the different attitudes and attributes that you've been using. Okay, so you should be finishing this whole thing. You should be very close to finishing if you've been doing it piece by piece, which those of you that have, you see that all that hard work paid off. You're now just on the back end of all the work with the essay and the reflection and the attributes and attitudes and asking your parents to do this and that and double checking your visual presentation, right? Okay, so you're there and you've done all of this stuff here, this section here, which explains to you, right, from the beginning all the way down to the end, this timeline. Well, if you've done everything you're supposed to, then you're here on this section where you're, doing planning, creating your oral presentation, the technology piece, the create board display can be electronic also. You would rehearse because you are expected to, try to get a video presentation together using Zoom like I'm doing right now, or someone could videotape you and then we get it. But all you need to do is make a presentation of your information and we can put it onto the Padlet where everyone can then share in it, because one final piece to this, if you see, and again, I don't want to go too fast, I've learned that, is Exhibition Museum Night. Well, Exhibition Museum Night is on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. We get all our information from you guys, put it into Padlet, and people start to celebrate your exhibition. So I hope that helped as much as it can. But if you look at the timeline, you kind of could have followed along and seen that, okay, we're about here, and I'm sorry, we're about here, and there's not really much more to it other than finishing up all of those pieces that you need to create. So if you have any questions, please be sure to ask those questions about anything. But Wednesday, not tomorrow, but the Wednesday after, Memorial Day week, is when we expect to see all of that stuff going into our Padlet and finishing up for the presentations to be shown and shared. And we thank you all for doing your hardest work, and we look forward to seeing how that hard work pays off and what product you create. So thank you for watching. I hope everything is going well with the exhibition, and if you have questions, make sure you ask me. Have a great day.